Where's the switch on this one? Oh, there is no switch on this one. This one's got the switch. Hi, I'm Tangles. This is my garage, and this is my car. Okay, so I decided, one part a little bit excited about having a wing to install. Second part is the realization that if all the parts aren't here, I don't have time to deal with it tomorrow afternoon. So I've mock assembled the stands, the legs on here, both sides, pulled out the end plates, made sure I got two of those, got the screws for those. Screws for everything are in there, they're just loose but they're there, and the end plate's got 2 holes and there's 3 holes in there. I better check that. Now I did see that before, but I thought I would just use the other 2, but I better make sure that the right end plates are with this wing. It would appear, at least, that I got the right end plates, so I just sat them over the end and the holes look like they're lined up. Come home from work tomorrow and put that wing on the boat. Now I haven't really skipped anything here. This is pretty basic. 4 bolts, 4 screws, 4 bolts, 4 screws. It's not like I've done anything there that you need to see how to do to learn how to do it. I'd never assembled one of these wings before and it was just, you know, simple. So you've not missed anything, don't worry about it. But for now, 10 o'clock, so I'm going to have a shower and go to bed. Tonight, the night before Jap Nats, I've got to fit the wing. So the only thing you have not seen me do is I had to file this bracket a little bit so this would sit better, and I've removed these bolts, which are loose bolts, they're not cast in. I bought some spare bolts, some longer ones, based on the advice over the phone that they were M6. They certainly fit through the hole, but having seen how they're held on the other side, they may not fit inside the head. However, we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So we have fixed the brackets in a random position but equal both ends, demonstrated by that. So that doesn't get me much, it just gets me something I can sit on the boot and start to locate with, because I've got rules as to where the wing element, not the supports, where the wing element can go. As far as how far back it can go, that's the only relevant thing, because it's narrower than the car, it can't poke out either side either, and it can't go any further back than OEM body part. So if I set it there and then change the angle, it may actually, you know, bring it back or forward and affect that. So I've set it up in a very neutral position, which should in theory make it quite deep, and that way any additional angle I give it should shorten it and lever it over on this forward pivot and actually bring it forward slightly. Not a lot, just enough to prevent it from going backwards over the back and then me being disqualified from class because my wing sticks out the back too far on a particular angle, which might be the angle I want to run. Alright, time to put it up there. Okay, I'm using the light as a stand because it wants to fall over. So as you can see, that position, I'd call that completely neutral. Now we're not quite level left to right with those stands, or not as level as I thought it was. We're reasonably close, it won't take too much to get that out. But now I need to set the depth. It's going to be somewhere near there, but I'm going to use a string line to plumb bob down the back and actually see, I need a light, where it is relative. These are all my old tools. Being a Boilermaker, you might recognise my hammer though. The wing is sort of sitting there. We can see here the string line coming down the back. You can see it's resting on the boat. We're about 50mm from where we want to be, but I haven't sort of got anything else that'll support the wing at the moment, so I've got to figure out a way to do that. If I come any further back with that, it'll fall off. But we're making progress. I'm somewhere near where I want to be left and right. Probably needs to get a little bit left. I have to decide whether or not I'm going to try and follow the boot line or square with these brackets, because the boot tapers away. Yeah, and bring it back. So that's my starting point. Alright, I'm at take 3 for fore aft positioning. Now, and my light's just gone out too, my good light. You can see our string line is barely touching. So that means it's pretty much in line, dead in line with the rear of the bumper, which means it's just legal for my class, which means that is my fore aft position, and that is, where'd my ruler go? We are 80 millimeters to the center of that grommet, which is the center of that hole, which is the same on both sides because that's an OEM hole for the OEM wing. That's good enough for me. However, I've got two grommets here, one there, one directly under there. This wing's got to come off now. I've got to pop these grommets out so I can sit this flat, but 80 millimeters, and I'll write that down. $80mm from grommet. Alrighty, wings off. I've already cut this, just the Stanley knife, and neatly traced the grommet. Done it on both sides. Now, one of my many long screwdrivers, narrow screwdrivers. Be able to pop it out like that. So this one may not be a problem, but this one definitely will be. Because I got the tape down, I can lever against the body. Yeah, worry about scratching it. There we go. Okay, now to show you how I'm going to find the centre line of the car using a level. Although you really can't see it from there. So I'm going to use the Nissan badge as the centre line of the car. On the rear, I'm going to use my level to transfer that up to here, and at which point I'll do a little bit of triangulation to get a square line up there. Now, one thought I had, but I don't think I'll bother, which would be much more accurate, would actually be getting that string line. If you want to be ultra perfect, attach it in the centre of the grille, run it all the way over the car, line it up with the centre of the badge, or whatever you deem to be the centre. Maybe lift the boot off and put a mark on some other part, and then literally yeah, string line your centre, mark it, because the longer your two datums are apart, the less it matters if they're out. So that'd be a far more accurate way to do it, but this is going to be more than sufficient for my purposes. And by sufficient, I mean less than a millimetre. I need to measure the Nissan badge first. Now once again, you could go the boot or the body either side of the boot. The body on the side of the boot should be good, eh? Yeah, I think that's a better idea. Anyway, what you can do, yeah, you can just measure the centre of the badge, depends on how accurate you want to be, mark it there, get your level, get the line in the bubble, depending on how accurate your level is, mark it up here to get the centre up there on the top. Now I'm not going to do that now, I've changed my mind, just because this will be easier. So I'm not measuring to the boot, I'm pushing to the outside to the body. A dimension we can't read in the dark of 1108. So 1108 divided by 2. Get your calculators out. I'll get my calculator out. But I think it's 554. 554. 554. Alright. Now, because we've got both sides, you can double check the measurement from the other side, and we get 553. So it's 554 and a half, and I know what side of the line that is. It's only this. I'm going to hard against that. Using my ruler and a little bit of light. Yep. Okay, so the line has a thickness to it. So remember what side you've marked it on, and mark it. Now, important with levels, you should always turn them around and do the measurement again, because if the level's out, it'll be different. If it's not, it's the same. The bubble should be in the same place. Cool, so yeah, my level is out. It's out very little between those two, and it's within the thickness of that line. Basically in the centre of my line, having marked it on one side, when I checked the other side, it was literally the other side of the line. So the centre of the line is the centre of the car. So I've got a centre. Now how do I draw it up here? Got a couple of points here and here that are known or fixed. So a bit closer together, we could transfer them up that way. My journey dividers? Oh, journey dividers. Why do I keep saying journey dividers? They're not journey dividers, they're just dividers. I'll just extend this out a little bit. And grab my dividers. These are called dividers. So again, if you're a metal tradesman, you'll know exactly what they are. Run out of tape. I thought I had more than this. So I got some of this. So you need one straight line, and I know I've got one here on this boot between these two grommets. So that's going to be my line. I know approximately where this needs to be now. Now preferably I would have a 1 metre rule to do this, but I don't. So the level's standing in the straight edge. So this grommet is going to be the same on both sides, obviously. If I can get it same on both sides, that's close. 1 millimetre. Push down on that side to move the fulcrum to that side, because that's the side that is right, till it touches the grommet, and pull it back, and then let it recenter and wobble. But the relative measurement should be the same still when we put that on there and there. So now we have our straight line. We make sure nothing moves. There we go. There's the grommet, and that's where I've marked the straight line. So this is square to the boot, perfectly. Next we've got a square. We transfer this mark in here using the long side of the line where it's one unbroken line, so we don't have to eye it off. We transfer that up to there. It all seems to be a lot of fiddly stuff, but once you get used to it, it all sort of flows on. Let me think about that. Do I need that centre line anymore to go further up? Yes I do, because I want to measure out. So yeah, so here we go. Marked it. I will fill in this here because that's about where I'm going to have it. I just draw it on the boot. Draw it on the boot, you dickhead. So if we have it, if we go out 100 either side. So now we mark 2 arcs here. Same arc twice, and the longer you leave is better. That's marked straight away. That will always, 100% of the time, give you a perfect 90-degree angle. Now I can't see it on camera, but I can in real life. That is not quite the centre of it, that's just off the edge of it. Remember, your pen's got a thickness, so you got to allow for that. Okay, we have a centre line. Now we know our wing width is 1095. So that divided by 2. By 47. So let's measure it. Obviously you can't see squat. So we're measuring, what was the measurement? 547 centerline. Well, yeah. So I'm holding the tape on the 100 back here, so it's going to be 647. And we go to the center of this grommet, the bottom of this grommet, sorry. 647. It's right there. Anyone who's got a really pretty looking car is going to be cringing. Now you could just completely cover the whole back half of the car in tape. Prevent any scratches. If I had more tape, I probably would put more tape on. We're looking for 547, which is 647 on the tape. I'm holding another 100. Now, also, I mean, that was a 1/2 mil measurement, and people will tell you can't mark 1/2 mil, but you can. Try and work to the smallest increment as you can, and then if it comes out within a millimetre, you're probably okay, but always work towards the smallest number. Now, we mark it here. Measure up. 230 up from the bottom of this grommet. Eyeball that up because it's not a critical line yet. I don't mean eyeball it completely, I mean eyeball the squareness of it running up the car like that. Now 547.5, if you can measure it accurately enough. There. So now we have a dead straight line that runs up the centre of the car over here. And at this point, and just as a good check, I will put the line in here. At this point here, I will measure this to about 49.5 millimetres. Oh, down here. I was looking for my mark. And we are not 49.5. We are 52. Let's double check this side. Yeah, definitely 49.5. Check it down here. 21. So my problem is these original lines don't seem to be centered correctly. So let me have a look. That side is 48. That's 48. Let me rethink some of these measurements. So, net result is line is square and true to the center line to the car. It's just that this line is approximately 2 mil. That line and that line are 2 mil that way. So this should be like 51 at that point where I was measuring, which would make this one, which was 53, 51. So with that in mind, I know I need to move this line over 2 millimeters. I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to work on it. Work off it. Same with that. And then I'll double check it before I do anything drastic, like drill a hole.